Hello and welcome back to another episode of Diet Culture Can Fork Off. So I'm Becky and I help women who are done with diets, done with cycles, done with starting again every Monday, finally sort out their relationship with food and their body felt good. This is not another meal plan or another, just exercise plan, not through measuring every morsel of food or weighing yourself every week or every day for that matter, and not through missing out on your actual life, but by breaking down diet culture's hold and getting down to the real stuff underneath. That's what this rebellion is all about. And I work with women through my one-to-one Empower coaching or through my Misfit Club group coaching as well, which is my 6-week group program for women who know everything but are stuck in those cycles and need something different to help break it once and for all. And today, we're going to get into something that I think is going to help you a lot and make a lot of things click as well. Because I get messages about this all the time from women saying like some version of the same thing. Basically like, okay, I've tried everything. I know what I should be doing, but I just can't stop thinking about my body. I can't stop thinking about the way I look and comparing. I can't stop that spiral and I don't know what's wrong with me. And today I want to tell you there is absolutely nothing wrong with you, okay? There is actual research that explains exactly what is happening. And once you hear it, I genuinely believe that you're going to feel two things. First of all, you're going to feel relief. And second, probably quite a lot of anger as well. Because what's been happening to you and happening to all us women, it has a name. It has decades of science behind it. And it never, ever was your fault. So wherever you are, if you've got a coffee, if you're in the gym, I don't know if you listen to this, wherever you listen on your walk, settle in because we're going to get into it, okay? So I want to start with the idea that I keep coming back to lately, that diet culture basically charges women a tax. I'm not talking about money tax, although God knows it takes enough of that too, really, with all the supplements and bullshit and things that you don't need out there. But this tax is completely different what I'm actually talking about. This tax is paid in mental energy, in that headspace, like I always say, it takes up so much of your brain capacity. It's the constant, relentless background noise of monitoring your body, evaluating your body, correcting your body, and then starting the whole thing over again the next day. Constantly. Every waking moment. I know I've been there. And for most of us, you don't even realise that you're doing it. You don't realise this tax that you're paying because it's so normalised. It just becomes life. It just becomes what it feels like to be a woman, to be constantly having to check yourself, to monitor yourself. But here's what I want you to sit with today, okay? You were not born paying this tax. We've been taught to do it. So I've got a bit of my throat there. So yeah, you're not born with this tax. You've been taught it. It's something that you have been taught to pay. Think about the magazines and the media and everything that we grow up with. I want you to really think back to that for a second. Think about what you grew up with. Think about those magazines. Think about the media, maybe even comments from people around you. Maybe it was what your mum was reading, or maybe it was what was at the hairdressers. Maybe it was when you walked into the newsagents, so that was a thing back then. And maybe it was a school common room where you're sharing magazines and 17 and things like that. Think about what the covers were. What were those headlines? That whole lose a stone before summer, best and worst beach bodies. Those articles with this, was it the circle of shame that I always mention? Circling that cellulite on celebrities like it was breaking news. That was so important to highlight. The problem areas, I'm saying that as in quotations, the things that we needed to be aware of, the things that weren't perfect, tips to, I don't know, hide your arms, or make yourself look slimmer, minimize your thighs and flatten your stomach. Like, that was all there. That was the wallpaper of our childhoods. That was just the background noise of growing up female. And then there was like the TV, the films, the music videos, like I've mentioned before, that women's bodies were constantly on display, sexualized objects, constantly commented on, constantly evaluated, not for what those bodies could do, but for how they looked every single time. And we absorbed it, all of it, every single little bit of it. Over time, we started to internalize it, like so completely that we didn't even notice like when it was happening. We just started doing it to ourselves instead. So this is where it gets really interesting, okay? Because there's an actual psychological term for this, for what I'm describing. And you may have seen me talk about it on social media. If you follow me on, Instagram, Facebook, Substack, I did an article about this recently. But it's called self-objectification. The concept was first really developed by researchers Barbara Fredrickson and Tommy Ann Roberts back in 1997. And their work has since been built on hundreds of studies. What they found is that when women are repeatedly exposed to a culture that treats their bodies as objects, to be looked at, to be evaluated, like we just mentioned, that's basically growing up in Western society, they began to internalize that outside perspective. They start to observe themselves, or we start to observe like ourselves constantly. Like there's a little camera running in the back of your mind, watching how you look all the time. And what this does to women is really profound. So studies have found that high levels of self-objectification are linked to the reduced ability to recognize hunger and fullness cues, because you're so focused on how your body looks that you've lost touch with how it feels. So that obviously goes in hand with higher rates of disordered eating, lower body satisfaction. And here's a bit that always gets me. Even after losing weight, you still have that poor negative body image. Alongside this, you've got more anxiety, more shame, and decreased performance in tasks that require concentration, because part of your brain is that permanently occupied with that observer role. Like you're constantly in the back of your mind, don't even notice it anymore. But what you do probably notice is the negative self-talk keep coming up and you don't know how to stop it. Okay, that's probably what you do notice. And I know that's what a lot of women that I speak to notice. So this is just shown how growing up in that world where you were taught to look at your body as an object, and it was very objectifying if you look at how women especially were treated in this in our environment, in our culture. It was teaching us slowly and surely to start picking ourselves apart. We started internalizing that voice, but it's not really our voice, okay? But you can see then, I always talk about how this takes up so much energy and how much headspace constantly. And I know because I've been through it. And it's only when I got out of it, I was I was going to swear there, but I can swear, I guess. But so fucking hell, it's gone. I have so much more free. I feel more free. But again, that decreased performance in tasks, I've known myself, when I used to do this to myself quite a lot, look in the mirror, and that heaviness, I'm talking that mental heaviness, when you're ripping yourself apart in the mirror, picking yourself apart, and you feel shit, you're putting yourself down, and then you can't stop thinking about it all day. So of course, if that little voice is going off, of course you're gonna like be distracted, and you're not going to be able to perform in tasks that require that concentration. And that means how you're showing up day to day in your work, maybe it's in your relationships, in those social environments as well. So because that's what really gets me, really, is because diet culture isn't just stealing like your peace, it steals your focus, it steals your creativity and your capacity to be fully present in your life, to be that powerful woman, to be showing up as yourself, because that to me is one hell of a tax. And that's why I'm all about this rebellion, because that we deserve, and you deserve, so much better than that. And I know this isn't just theory, because I lived it. Like I said, like I have been there. And I remember being a teenager and not being able to walk past mirror. No, I say a teenager, I was probably in my 20s and stuff as well, without checking my body. Is my stomach sticking out? Do my thighs look okay? Like, oh, what does my arms look like? I did everything. Like, it wasn't in a vain way. It was like an anxious way, like always assessing, always finding something wrong, always having that little voice in the back of my head, like as a running commentary. And for years, I thought it was just me. I thought it was some personality flaw, that why am I like this? Or like, why is it me that has this lack of discipline? Or, this is just like proof that I need to just try harder. Like, look at you. Like, this is why you need to, you need to do better. Everyone else is doing better and you're not. Like that kind of, really harsh, like commentary in the back of my head. And you do feel alone, and you do feel like it's just you at that moment going through that, because everyone else around you seems to have their shit together and be doing fine. But I promise you it's not the case, because now I know, going through that journey myself and speaking to so many women, that you're not alone in this. Okay, it never really occurred to me either that this was like a response to the things that I had learned, that it's like your brain has literally been trained to do this by years and years and years of that messaging telling you that your body was something to be fixed, that it needed to look a certain way, that it needed to be a certain way to be accepted. And when I finally understood this self-objectification, when I actually read the research and went, oh, okay, that's what's happening, it was like someone had switched a light on. And then it just immediately made me really furious, to be honest. Because how many years had I wasted? How much headspace had I given over to this? How many moments had I been half present, in not showing up as my true self, because part of me was always watching? And I know that I'm not alone in that, because I hear versions of this story for every woman every single week. Not every woman every single week, I should say, from so many of you every single week. And yeah, that realization, and that's why I feel like I get very angry about diet culture, and the way that society has put it down, and the fact that people still don't understand why it's toxic, and obviously trying to spread this word and show you that there's a different way, show you that it's not you and it's not your fault, and it never has been. It's been this, it's just, I'm getting so passionate about this now. It's just the way that society has always put you down, and then it's and then people say, well, oh, it drives me mad when I get the comments going oh, you're being a victim, or you're looking for someone to blame. It's no, the fucking research is there, okay? This is stuff that has been researched, it's been developed, there's been studies. So you're telling me that for us to look for an answer, and me to go and research and look for an answer for you guys to tell you that you are not alone and this is actually studied and it makes sense, that people putting you down or making out that it's your fault, it's absolutely bullshit, and they can get in the bin, right? I'm here to support you and tell you that it's not your fault. Understanding where these things come from and understanding the root issue and where it's developed is the path to freedom, to getting to your goals, to be able to move past this. You always need to understand the background of where these things come from, to be, when you understand it, that's when you can make the changes. Being able to just go, oh, I'm just gonna do another diet plan, or go back to Weight Watchers or go back to this, like, and you're still back in these cycles and going back to square one. It's because you don't understand the root cause, like things like this, which is why I'm here to help you describe them, or help you understand them and why you were struggling, because it's not your fault. And sorry, I get very not angry, I just get very passionate about it, because the amount of stuff I hear, I get it on my comments all the time, and it's like, stop trying to, we're not being victims, we're understanding the problem so we can create a solution. That's science at the end of the day. So it's not blaming, it's understanding so we can create a solution. And that's what I'm doing. Breaking diet culture is the solution. So anyway, I went on a little rant there. Where did I get to? So here's what self-objectifying looks like every day. Okay, and I want to see if any of this sounds familiar. So think about, you wake up, before you've even had a coffee, you're already like assessing yourself. How does my stomach feel today? Do I feel bloated? What did I eat yesterday? What am I going to eat today? You get dressed and then you check the mirror. And depending on what you see, your whole mood starts to shift. Good body image day, okay, we're all right. We're going to move on for the rest of our day, okay. But if it's a bad body image day, suddenly everything feels harder. It's like this, I've had it before, it's like sinking feeling, this sick feeling. It's like you just get this pins and needly feeling all over you, and your like heart sinks, you drop. And then you go out and your brain is just on high alert, watching everything. How do I look from this angle? Are people noticing? Oh, I'm adjusting your clothes. Oh, is my tummy sticking out? Do I need to like tuck it in? Do I need to breathe in? And like, you just want to hide, wondering what people are thinking as well is another one that comes into that. Should I have worn something different today? I don't feel comfortable in what I'm wearing. And then you sit down to eat, and instead of just eating, there's this whole internal negotiation happening. Like, is this okay? Is this too much? Should I eat this? I'll be good tomorrow. Maybe I won't eat this now. What am I going to have later? Like, is this too many calories? I shouldn't have eaten that yesterday. That's why I feel shit today. Everything is just constant. And by the end of the day, you're completely exhausted. And that's not from anything you've actually done, but just from the sheer relentless of that mental labour of all of that monitoring. It's like your brain uses calories to think, okay? So that is not a discipline problem. That is not a willpower problem. That's not a motivation problem. That is self-objectification doing exactly what it was designed to do. So what is the answer here? You're like, Becky, okay, this makes sense. This is what I'm doing. What do I do? And I want to be really honest with you here, because I do think there's a version of this conversation that goes, just love your body. And I genuinely cannot stand that advice, because it's not realistic. And for a lot of women, it just makes things worse, because now you feel like you're failing at that too. The goal is not to love your body every single day. Okay, that is not realistic. Some days you're going to feel great, and some days you're going to feel like an absolute potato. Both of these are fine. Both of these are human. The goal is acceptance. And acceptance looks really different from what most people think. It doesn't mean you never have a bad body image day. It doesn't mean you're always happy with how you look or how you feel. What it means is that those thoughts stop having so much power. So instead of like a bad body image day, like turning into that full spiral, like, you look in the mirror, like what you're doing now, you look in the mirror, you say, I'm not happy with the way I look today, and then it's constantly there, like this grey cloud hanging over you with that negative self-talk, comparing, feeling shit all day. Then you start restricting, or like you start like thinking, oh right, I need to get to the gym, I need to over-exercise. You have that shame, you have that guilt, that like, oh right, well it's because of that happened yesterday, now I've got to start over again. Like all of that goes on. When you have body acceptance, it's just a passing thought. Now I have it, time to time. Of course I do. I'm human. Look at him, I'm like, oh, I sort of like feel a bit meh today, feel a bit meh today, feel a bit like a potato. And it's just a passing thought. I'm like, that's interesting. I feel like that today. And then I move on. I don't give it any more airtime is the best way to describe it, I guess. It's just like, there it is. There's a thought. That's interesting. I feel like that. Off it goes on its little merry way. So, and then you move on. Okay. That's it. That's like that. I know that sounds so simple. And I know it's not simple to get there, if that makes sense. But that's what we're aiming for. We're not aiming for perfection. We're not aiming to love your body every day. Not that toxic positivity. Just getting to a point where that thought comes up and it passes and you get your life back. That is the realistic goal, okay? So, because, where was I going with this? Yes, because when you remove fat tax, when you stop paying that daily toll of monitoring and evaluating and assessing and obsessing, the headspace it frees up is honestly extraordinary, because you get to be present, like in your meals, like when you're out socially, in your relationships, in your work. And I have to say that is why so many of my clients that work with me end up getting promotions or changing their careers, because they can actually get that mind back, in your body, in your life. You know, that is what food freedom actually looks like. That is breaking free from diet culture. So remember, the goal here is not loving your body every single day. It's releasing the mental load that it's currently having over you. It's accepting your body on the good days and on the bad days, and not allowing it to take up the headspace that it currently is, because you feel freer, you feel happier. And when you break that, you can break the cycles that you're currently stuck in. So if this episode resonated with you, if you've heard yourself in any of that, I want you to know that this is the exact work that I do with my one-to-one clients. Not another food plan, not more rules, like getting to the actual root cause of stuff. Like, there's so many tools that I use to help with my clients, and I say so many because not one way works for everyone, to help them break down diet culture, okay, and start on body acceptance, because it's all about the unlearning, the habit patterns of the mind, you know, those neuro pathways that, you know, that body objectifying voice, that inner critic is so worn in, that neuro pathway, that we need to break it and create new ones. And that does take time, and it takes support, and it takes certain tools to use as well. So, you know, that's what it takes to rebuild that relationship with your body. You know, and it doesn't, we want to do that. That's what we want to do. So if you want to know more about working with me one-to-one, I have the link down in my show notes, where, you know, this is exactly what I do, and very good at it, if I have to say so myself. That's why I get such amazing results. And I'd love to talk to you, of course. So do fill in an inquiry form if you are interested in working for me. And it's for me as well to make sure that you are a good fit. You know, that you're a good fit for the program, because that's really, really important. But if you're not quite ready for that yet, and you want to be part of a community where women get it, you can come and join us at Diet Culture Can Fork Off on the Facebook group. I've got a membership Facebook group, which is only £2.79 a month, and it's a real safe space, and it's one of my favourite places to be. I do weekly Q&As in there, so you do get to talk to me, get to see my face. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but also I have got a selection of incredible resources in there that will help you start this journey. So and you can get a feel for the community and how I work as well, which is a great spot to be. So if this episode has helped you as well, please share it, please like it, you know, and And review, send me some stars or whatever it is. Review it as well, because honestly that does go a long way, and it really helps me out, and it really helps me spread this message on breaking diet culture as well. And obviously, if you can leave a review if you're feeling generous, that would be amazing, and I really appreciate anyone taking the time to do that. And it does help more women find this podcast as well. And that's it for today. I hope that's helped. It's something that's a subject that's really close to my heart, and it's all in these steps of breaking diet culture. So thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next one, because diet culture can absolutely fork off.